a group exploring how ethics shape leadership and how ethical behavior is reflected in public leadership. So basically, how would each of you guys define ethics?
I would define it as like the standard of moral conduct, like how you treat people, what you do.
What's considered right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly, right and wrong, and you know how they conduct and judge things. And
I think it's kind of the feeling you have when you know something's gone right or wrong. Simply just knowing that this is right.
Your gut feeling.
Yeah. I think that's why it's like so interesting to talk about too, because everyone's idea of what's right and wrong can be like argued. So I think that's why it's always like a controversial topic, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then you can take a look around at the other people around you, and you can see whether you did what was right or what was wrong based on the reactions.
Right.
Yeah, or the outcomes of like the situation later on.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked how through the reading I read that Immanuel Kant, the philosopher, can answer a question about ethics, and if the answer is yes, that you should do something, then you should do it without a doubt. But if you answer no, then you obviously shouldn't do it. But in today's society, you can answer the question no, and people still do something unethical above everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I like the topic about like the information management and just responsibility and like the power it holds. I think it's just kind of interesting, like especially with like the presidential race we're dealing with right now. It's just interesting. Like there's so many like behind the scenes like information that's always released, and it's kind of like up for debate as to, you know, if they withhold a lot of the information, is it lying or, you know, withholding the truth, or is it going to benefit the country to release this information later or never? And I think it's just interesting they're at this kind of like weird balance that they're always in when you're in like a presidency or even just a candidate of, you know, are you holding this information back to benefit yourself, or is it to benefit the whole country? So I think that's the constant argument with that. So I think that's a pretty cool topic to kind of sink into.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, is it ethical to like hide the skeletons in their closet, like they're doing, or like should it be brought to light? Like, should people care about that?
Yeah.
It doesn't really seem like people do care about it.
Right.
And also violating privacy, you know, getting information from people when they don't need it. You know, people do have privacy rights, and unethically getting that information to where they don't really need it, but they want to get it just for leveraging power or whatever.
Do you guys think it's a lie, even though it's for the benefit of the many?
But is it for their benefit? Like, is it for everyone's benefit, or is it for their like individual benefit?
I guess it would depend on the situation. I know a lot of times you hear, like, definitely on like shows like Scandal and stuff, which like reflect the American government, national security is at hand. You can't tell anybody about it. So how do you consider that to be a situation where you apply ethics if it's security for everybody, you know?
Yeah, I wouldn't have to guess that it would be based on your definition of whether the ends justify the means.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That situation where like the TV show or like when that kind of stuff happens and we don't get to know about it, that's a little bit more understandable in some circumstances. But when it comes to like the presidential election, before the candidate is actually our president or the leader, I don't think it's okay, because then we should know everything before we put them into office, not after the fact, like, oh, the ends justify the means.
Yeah.
Whereas if they're already in office and they're like making decisions that could like hurt or help people, then it's a little bit more understandable to make those like ethical decisions.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Like before they get in the office, like there's not a ton that they don't really, or they can't really disclose, you know. It's kind of, they shouldn't have anything that should be too wrong to open up to, but obviously, yeah, like once you're president, there's a lot more at stake and a lot more information you're exposed to.
Like, is it ethical for you to be in a leadership position when you have bad things people don't know about? You shouldn't even be like considered in a way. It'd be unethical to be.
Could you also be, let's say you're like a good ethical leader, but you're just a bad person? like home and work
Could
life.
be that. I mean,
Could you be that? Yeah. Could that happen?
Yeah, could you go to work every day and everybody see you as like this like white knight and you're like so great for everybody, but then at home it's a totally different situation. How do you consider that?
What would you be at home? Like a serial killer, but like a great office manager? Would that really be possible? Because in the long run, like what you do at home will eventually catch up to what you do in the office. Like you can't keep two separate lives.
but isn't that the difference between being ethical and being moral?
Oh, what about a psychopath? They're definitely capable of something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then that's where you would also have to disregard all moral ethics and all societal definitions of what ethics means. But some people don't have that, or they don't care.
Yeah.
But they do follow the rules of society, so they're kind of posers. I could see that happening.
Like posing to have a moral character.
Yeah, to get people on your side, but for your benefit and not for the well-being of others.
Well, it's being manipulative, and that's in itself a definition of being unethical. So.
Yeah.
So exploring how ethics shape leadership, how would you think that ethics shapes leadership? I know from my standpoint, I work for Target Corporation, and it's a very ethical company, and they kind of shape their leadership roles and how they do things around how is it going to benefit communities that we're with. So that's how they kind of shape their roles. At the same time, though, recently I was looking at something at Target, and Target has this thing where if you have like a debit card for them, you save 5%. But then they also have a program where 5% of their profits every month go to communities. So are they really giving to communities, or are they just, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, make it seem like they're doing something really good.
But they're really not.
Yeah. No, I feel you. No, I in the situation at Starbucks, I just went to my new store, and I like the idea of trying to correct ethical problems. When I first got there, my manager would kind of like skew of what the position he really was playing. He would go on like 30-minute 10s. He would go get product from other stores and be gone for hours.
Oh, wow.
And what I try to do is try to sit down and talk to him. But that's when I first got there, and that definitely rocked the boat in a rough way for me. But he stopped doing it.
You definitely gotta respect boundaries.
Now, did he hold it against you for putting his feet to the fire like that?
Some days I'm not liked by most, but rolling the way they should be now.
Good.
It was worth it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But I'm going to another new store soon, so it's not too bad. So I'm going to let my mark.
So how is ethical behavior reflected in public leadership? I mean, we just kind of talked about how it shapes leadership. It's hard to like define between the two of what they're saying.
Yeah.
How it's reflected, I'm not sure.
Well, they
acknowledge that there's a behavior.
Yeah, they influence people, corporations, and government. So, I mean, if people are unethical, I mean, it gave a good example in the book. Unethical leaders like Hitler and Stalin. I mean, look what happened. You know, they influenced people to think a certain way, manipulated them, and you saw the results of their actions. I mean, you know, we got the Second World War. I mean, all these millions of people died. So, you know, that's one very good example of how it's reflected in public leadership.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, they also promote ethical standards and behaviors, hold themselves to the same standards as their followers. They definitely take responsibility for the consequences of the orders they are given. I know some days that I give an order that's like, oh, let's start cleaning, and we just get hit by a rush, and now everything's like out of cahoots. Everything's like moved around, we're in a rush, and business is starting to drop. So sometimes those decisions can impact the business.
I think also too, a lot of people look towards their leaders on how to act certain ways. So if they see their leaders acting unethical, they would perceive that it's the right way to act, and then, you know, by that you'll have more people acting unethical, thinking that it's the right thing to do when actually it's not. So I think it's just,
Then you have a bunch of unethical followers.
right, exactly.
I think that's like becoming very prominent now in America with this election going on and how rallies are being handled and the way you're perceiving yourself, people are acting out the same way that person is. It's just kind of sad to see that a behavior of one can influence so many to act a certain way.
Yeah, that's true.
It will definitely be interesting to watch the debate tonight if you guys are.
Yeah.
Isn't there a football game on instead?
All right, so I think we might be at our time now.
Cool.
Sounds good.
All right, awesome.
Yeah.
Have a good day, guys.
Next week.
Thanks.
You too. Thank you.